Hello, everybody. All right, I'm here. How you doing? Looks like we got Trav out there. So I'll go ahead and just ramble here for a minute and allow some people to get here and join the live. So we are going to be talking today about the fact that they did find somebody connected to Waupun prison, where Stephen Avery is currently being wrongfully imprisoned. And somebody connected to the prison has been confirmed to have the coronavirus, COVID-19. So I guess we'll just hold on here for a second and wait for some people to get here. And also in the second half of this, by the way, after we're done talking about Stephen and Waupun and all that sort of stuff, is we're going to talk about a little update on Highland Community College in Kansas. Interesting developments there, folks. So we'll be sharing that as well. Okay, so we got some people coming in now. Hello, Roland. How you doing? Okay, so all right, here we go. Now they're starting to come in here. All right, so now we're getting up to 8. All right. So as I was saying here, for those that may have missed it, today we're going to be talking about the fact that somebody connected to Waupun, prison, where Stephen Avery is being, held, has been confirmed to have the coronavirus, COVID-19. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that today, and what that can mean, and we'll just talk about a little bit about what that all kind of maybe entails, or what it may entail. And then, like I said, in the second half of this video, we're going to be talking about a very, very interesting development with the Highland Community College situation in Kansas City. Little teaser, the ACLU is now involved. So, yeah, so it's pretty interesting stuff. Let's see. Battling the fight against the virus, one gym at a time. Out here, janitoring it up. Right on, Roland. So, yeah, it's not ideal news, obviously, right? We don't really want. We didn't, probably the last thing we wanted, I should say, right? The last thing we wanted was for the prison where Stephen or Brendan is being held to get connected with the coronavirus. So I will say this, though, the prison is probably going to be fairly well equipped to deal with the situation there. And I would assume now that they know that somebody that's connected with the prison was confirmed, they'll be taking steps to make sure they're prepared in the coming weeks, I would think. So hopefully that's what we're going to see happen. There's an article that was issued, that's actually, I linked it down below in the description if you want to go check it out. It's just hello, Dustin. It's just, and I would say this as well, Stephen Avery is still a pretty healthy guy. He's not like some doddering old, fogey. You know what I mean? He's still pretty full of beans and everything. So he's probably going to be all right. He's going to probably have a very good chance. And like I said, the prison's medical facilities will hopefully be stepped up here in the coming weeks. And if need be, the prisoners there will not have to suffer the worst of corona. So it's unfortunate. Like I said, I mean, it's getting pretty serious out there, right? I mean, we just had the announcement here by the governor in California basically saying everybody stay at home, ordering everybody stay at home except for on essential business, so, and that's what I've been doing all week, is I've only been going out for things that I have to do. You know what I mean? Generally I go to work, I stop at the store on the way home to pick up some things I need, and then I go home and I stay home, and I'm either here talking with you folks or I'm researching something about Stephen, Brendan, Scottish independence, whatever it may be. Corona now, obviously, because it's in our face. So, I'm kind of, getting up to speed on Corona as best I can. I know Rule Griffin is really getting up to speed on Corona. I'm thinking about him and I maybe getting together maybe this weekend if he's got some time, and him and I do a little PSA about Corona possibly. So may do that. T1, what's up, buddy? How's it going? It was only a matter of time, really. Many prayers. Well, that's just it. I mean, this thing's gonna get around, folks. Everybody's gonna get it eventually. Well, I shouldn't say everybody. A really large part of the population is gonna get it. Now, I will say that, and particularly here in LA, I put up a video on my other channel yesterday where I showed kind of here in LA what the freeways are like. And what it's like, and how people really, really, truly are taking the social distancing stuff very seriously. And that's good. I'm really happy to see that, because people are taking the social distancing seriously, it will prevent the government from having to take really, really harsh measures. If the people just conduct themselves sensibly, it will prevent a lot of, ridiculous things having to be done by the government. And that's what I would prefer. Right. So, in seeing this whole week how people were really taking it seriously and not going out unless they really needed to, I was very impressed with that. Closing down the schools the way we did here in California and LA, we closed them down the beginning of this week. So that the coronavirus hasn't had the chance to spread through the school system and be taken home to families this whole past week. These things that they're doing, that are being done, are going to be very helpful. And that's what's going to, you hear people talking about flattening the curve, right? Have you guys, I don't, for anybody that doesn't understand that, what it means, what the flattening the curve means is if you imagine, right? If we didn't do social distancing and we didn't take all these precautions, right? The cases of Corona would spike high in a very short period of time, right? So a really high spike in one period of time. What that does is it overwhelms the medical community. The medical community can't take care of everybody who's sick because there's just too many cases all at once. So what they mean by flattening the curve is to take that, instead of having it to be a big spike all at once, this social distancing will make the spread slower. And by the spread being slower, it won't spike. It'll go up and then it'll kind of plateau. And the cases will spread out over time, and therefore make it possible for our medical personnel to handle it and make sure that the least amount of people possible die. So that is where we're at with Corona. And like I said, it's troubling to find out it's in Waupun, that it's in Stevens prison. But like I said, this thing is going to be making its way around. It's kind of unavoidable. I mean, it's it's a highly contagious virus. So like I said, people that are healthy and all that stuff, they're going to get sick, but it's just going to be they're just going to get kind of sick, and it's going to be a bit miserable for a few days, a week, whatever it may be, until it runs its course, right? But it's really the more weak, elderly, people with immune system deficiencies, and that sort of stuff. Those are the people we really need to be worried about, because they're the vulnerable ones. They're the ones that Corona is going to, take by a stranglehold. So those are the ones we got to really, really watch out for. All right, let's see what's going on here in the chat. See, it could have been stateside since November. In Washington State, we closed the schools as well. Yeah, that's good. And like I said, closing the schools early was a really good thing, because that is a huge part of how viruses will spread, because kids are careless. Kids are super careless. They're constantly whatever. And they're just super careless. So they interact and spread and share germs like no tomorrow. And so if it shows up on campuses and with one kid spreads it to, say, 25 kids in one day, and then that kid ends up getting sick, but those other 25 kids don't get sick yet, Well, all those 25 kids have been passing it around to other kids. It goes, you see how that goes. That's why closing down the schools, I think, was a huge thing to stem the tide of this, because I think it's through the kids at school taking it home to their families is really going to slow down the pace at which this thing, moves around. And like I said, it's going to make it more manageable. Oh yeah, they will probably have no visitors for a while. I would imagine they'll probably be taking those kind of precautions. Hello, Mose. See, my issue is SA and BD being locked down during this. Should be free men, with their family. Absolutely, T1. Yes, I have lupus. Nice knowing y'all. Well, Rhonda, you make sure you take care of yourself, okay? I will say that the precautions we're taking, in my mind, the precautions we're taking are going to probably create a little bit larger percentage of the population maybe that won't get this disease at all. So maybe, hopefully, Rhonda, you could be in that, maybe whatever it's going to be, 8% of people that don't get it or something. You know what I mean? Is California in lockdown? The governor just made an announcement tonight saying that everybody, there's an order for everybody to stay at home except for essential business. So for me, essential business is work and going to the store so that I have milk, meat, bread, things of that nature that are important for surviving. So for me, that's essential. That's what I call essential. So that's what my personal view of it is. I didn't even realize that my normal life is called quarantine. I work, go to the store, stay home. We homeschool already. I have no life. Damn, Roland. I sweat disinfectant. Unless I can catch it on Discord, we are pretty safe. The reason lupus and rheumatoid arthritis patients are susceptible is that the medications for these diseases turns off the body's immune response system. They are susceptible more than others. Interesting, Don. So people with those conditions are on medications that kind of curb the immune system. That's interesting. That's interesting. That's an interesting problem that has to be approached. I wonder what they're doing. I mean, obviously other countries in the world have been dealing with this for a while now. I wonder what they're doing in those cases. Hello, Julie. Are people buying like it's the end of the world by y'all? Yeah, absolutely. I had to go last night at midnight to go get milk from the little local store here. I seriously had to go at midnight. And then when I got there, I couldn't even get like a half gallon like I wanted to get. I had to get like 2 quarts, 2 small bottles, because their milk delivery was like 5 items. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this is it? Anyway. So yeah, I have milk. I'm not taking any chances here on Discord, wearing full body hazsuit as we speak. Yeah, so, and let's see here. New Mexico has 3-item limit on many things. Yeah, that's what a lot of stores need to start doing to prevent people from walking in there and buying out the whole section of toilet paper just so they can go home and sell it online at 5 times what they paid for it, right? So yeah, I mean that the stores need to be sensible here and allow and limit people to a sensible amount. I mean that's what's been needing to happen. So you can't find toilet paper. I know it's a problem with people. doing this. You know, they go out there and they're buying up all this stuff. And like I say, a lot of people saw it as an opportunity. There's a lot of people out there that were waiting for the store shelves to get restocked and went out and emptied them all again just so they could take all that supply home and sell it online for 5 times what they paid for it. You know? So, I mean, it's sad that that's what's happening, but it's like, once again, people need to realize and continue to talk about the fact this is not like a blizzard or something, you know, where trucks can't roll and deliver things to the stores. It's just people being greedy is all it is, and it needs to stop. So hopefully people are going to get their heads back down on planet Earth, get their feet back planted on planet Earth, and realize that they're doing a lot of harm and could potentially make it harder for those in our society who are vulnerable to corona, who are really vulnerable to it. We need to worry about those people. And so these greedy people that are buying up all the stock in the stores just so they can go home and make a profit, we need to be socially shaming those people when we see them. You know, it takes a village. Anyway. No one wants to thumb wrestle. Nope, because the handshakes are now the elbow bump now, right? So you just do the elbow bump, right? Anyway. Friend of mine posted on Facebook a picture of the bottled water section in the store, and it was empty. Yeah, I know. It's wild. It's wild. People, I get it that it's kind of out of a sense of self-preservation, but really, dude, how much can you use on your own? I mean, it's just ridiculous. Hello, Julie. We have people from big cities coming up from other bigger cities and buying our supplies, right? Right. It's crazy. I know it is crazy. I happen to have toilet paper, so I'm like not really worried. But yeah, I mean, it's sad. I mean, those of you who know me, I posted on Facebook the other day, where somebody had stolen the toilet paper out of a porta-john. Yeah. How pathetic is that? That somebody was stealing the rolls of toilet paper out of a porta-john. Yeah. I mean, ridiculous. Feet tapping inside of handshakes. Interesting. No one usually knows where I live. I've got that beat. Let's see. We are set. We have lawyers, guns, and money. Tylenol. Tylenol. There you go. I'm a ibuprofen man myself. So Waupun Prison has its first community. Yes, well, somebody connected with Waupun Prison has they've confirmed that somebody connected with Waupun Prison is confirmed to have corona now. Yes. That's how this video started. I think the panic is not knowing how long this may last. 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. Well, and I agree about that, folks. I mean, that's why I heard that order tonight and it said, except for essential business. Well, for me, essential business is carrying on with my life. Now, am I going to be going to the bars? And am I going to be going to big social gatherings and mingling with lots of people? No. My job requires me to deal primarily one-on-one, or maybe sometimes I have to deal with a couple people at a house that I'm going to work on the electronics. But I'm generally not having to work around people. I'm generally isolated, as it is. And so for me, I go to work, I have limited contact with people. I come home, or I hit I'll hit the store on my way home, and then I come home, and then I go in my, I sit in my studio here and work and research or whatever, and then I go to bed when the time comes. So that's the way I see it. That is essential for me because I have to continue to work because the bigwigs in the government who all live in their little ivory towers. Sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but sorry, they're not living the lifestyle of the average everyday person. So for them to say, oh yeah, everybody just stay home and life just stops for whatever. No, that's not practical. That's not a practical, way. We've taken the right steps. We have shut down the public schools early, right on. That was a smooth move, California. It was absolutely the right move. It was a great move. And we did that, and that's going to be a big part of it. We shut down the sporting events, the big time sporting events. So now we're not going to have people taking it to sporting events and spreading it around those and then continuing to have sporting events where people are bringing it to sporting events. You know what I mean? By shutting these types of things down where massive amounts of people can spread it quickly, it's going to be a huge deal. It's going to curb, in my mind, it's going to curb the rate that this virus spreads. I think it's highly contagious, and it's eventually going to probably get to a great many people. But I think that the measures that are being taken are going to curb it and slow it down. It's just my opinion, and we'll obviously see in the coming weeks. And I'll continue to talk about it here with you guys, and we'll, as the situation develops. So speed dating just got a lot faster, or a visitor brought it into the prison. When they put Trump in a bunker, then I'll panic. Yeah. It's probably prison doctor or nurse. Our schools in Australia are still open. Are they? Australia may want to think about shutting them down because, like I said, they're just exchanging germs all day long. Kids are not, they just, we all know how kids are. I know how I was when I was a kid. Anyway, so places should have been closed a while ago. Well, I don't think places should necessarily close, but like here, what we did was, you can't dine in a restaurant now. So it's all meant on preventing like groups of people gathering. And by preventing groups of people gathering, then the virus is forced to spread by like one person to one person instead of getting into a group situation, spreading to 10 people who then are taking it to other people, right? By avoiding those group situations as much as possible, it will curb the rate at which this thing can spread. And that's an important part of it. They say it's important so doctors and nurses can go to work and not get stuck home with their families. Right. So, well, that's another part of it is we need to keep it from the other part of it spiking. See, we don't want that big spike where everybody gets it all at once, right? That's what we don't want because, yeah, some of those people getting sick would be some of the medical personnel that we need to assist in the more, the more critical cases of corona. We need those medical personnel. So this is why a huge part of flattening the curve, and we keep saying it because it's an important part of what we're doing to deal with corona is flattening the curve. It's all about making it, instead of having all of these cases all come out in a very, very short span of time, we spread all those cases out over a longer period of time by slowing the spread. And when we spread it out over that longer period of time, it makes it a lot easier for our medical community to be able to deal with it and to deal with a lot of those more critical cases. Because here's the type of thing I heard they were having to do in Italy, folks. That was pretty disturbing to me. But I mean, they didn't have a choice. So they would be faced with two people who were critical with corona, right? And what the doctors were doing was looking at each case, and then they would take the case of the person that was doing the best, the person that had the least amount wrong, and then they would focus their efforts on that person and let the person who was worse off expire. They were having to do that because if they tried to do both, they would lose both. And so they were choosing to focus their energies on the person who was the least sick. So that's the kind of decisions they were having to make in Italy. We don't want our doctors here to have to be making decisions like that. And that's why we want to flatten the curve. That's the whole idea of flattening the curve, so that our medical community doesn't get overwhelmed and doesn't have to make decisions like that one I just described. Rubber Ducky thinks all non-essential workers need to self-quarantine, and that's her right, obviously, to believe that. Possibly there is no supply, and it's affordable. Let's see, the state effects. Let's see, the side effects of interferon are probably worse than the virus. Let's see here. I'll start panicking when the Dr. Pepper runs out and the Erekose that's funny. That's hilarious. So, there's little supply of interferon. Well, how did we get on to interferon here? Hold on. Let's see, possibly, but there's no supplies. That's the same. I'm happy to report plenty of Dr. Pepper. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm the same. I don't, like I said, I don't have to interact with a lot of people for my work. And I do need to continue to pay the bills because, I mean, it's just not practical for me to not be able to pay my bills for 2 months. That's just not, doesn't work. So me personally, I mean, with the type of job I have, I just don't have to interact with a lot of people. And so I feel the risk is minimal. I know a lot of people that are fortunate enough that they have jobs where they can work from home. A guy I was talking to on tech support today, as a matter of fact, I was talking to a tech support guy and he was actually working from home. A lot of people that's another place where we're preventing the spread of this, folks, is a lot of businesses, offices and stuff are allowing people that have the ability to work from home, and they're having everybody work from home and do their job from home, from their home computers and stuff, because they can. And that's preventing people from gathering in office buildings and being able to spread it around to each other that way. So, I mean, I obviously it's going to spread. I'm not denying that it's going to spread, but I think that we're taking a lot of good, the right measures that we're going to hopefully, as I say, flatten the curve. Dude, that was Stacy Seabrook put out a post on Facebook today talking about how coronavirus and Netflix was going to be making something. Oh my God, it was hilarious. I was cracking up. But he was making the same joke about people, being home and sequestered and, putting on the Barry White. If people who know they are at risk did the right thing, then it will stop spreading. I'm a janitor. I run my business forum. I had a doctor's appointment today, and nurse and the doctor came out to the outside of my car in the rain for it. Felt weird, but was nice. They're going above and beyond. The doctor came out to you at your car? That's interesting. What about the homeless? And that's another thing where, I mean, what are people going to do if they can't work and that sort of stuff for a month, 2 months, maybe even 3? You know, I mean, how many more people are going to end up homeless? Because I guarantee you, the man who wants his rent money is going to want his rent money still. Right? So, I mean, that's not going to change. So, I mean, you know, how many more homeless people will we have when Corona is done? I don't know. It's a sticky mess, but I am so happy to see that Los Angeles has been really taking the social distancing seriously. I got to tell you, there's just not many cars out on the road. I like I said, I did a video on my other channel yesterday. You can go over to my Doctor Who channel and check it out. And the freeways are just like, it's an eerie feeling, but people are really taking the social distancing seriously. And I'm really proud of that. I'm glad that people are taking the social distancing seriously. They may be overbuying at the stores, but at least they're doing the right thing when it comes to the social distancing. So, all appeal briefs have been extended 21 days. Yes, that's all true. If anybody didn't know that, that's what's happened because of Corona. So that includes the state's response has now had 21 days added to it. Let's see. Yep, not in. It stood outside the whole time. Yeah, the doctor's appointment. That's right. State of Wisconsin is working on making it illegal to evict renters during this trying time. Working on it. Right. Yeah. Okay. So I get it. That's in good spirit, but I mean, realities are realities, you know. And like I said, people are being sensible, and the social distancing seems to be happening. I can really see it. Like, it's real. I mean, look, I can't tell you. I mean, if you guys go and look at the other video that I put up on my channel yesterday, right, on the Doctor Who channel, I guarantee you the clips that you see of the freeway in that video, normally it would be like a parking lot in those areas. That's why I turned the camera on in those areas, just to show. Because those areas are in that video, those areas I'm going through are normally a parking lot, or just moving incredibly slow, you know, and frustratingly slow. And so it's being taken seriously here in LA. I don't know about I don't know everywhere else in the country, but we shut the schools down on Monday here. We've been doing a lot of things here in LA and in California. And like I said, you can visibly notice it. It's not just a small difference. It's a huge difference in the amount of people I see out and about. So, I saw on the news that people in the food industry is helping out people that don't have money for food. There will probably be food banks that begin to spring up in this trying period, because there are a lot of people that are out of work. That, you know, I know somebody in my family, because they are a counselor, and because they're not going to have any meetings or whatever, that family member is out of work for the foreseeable future. And there's a lot of people like that. And there's a lot of people that are basically kind of stuck in limbo until this is done. So, I mean, hopefully there's going to be things there to protect those people, because they didn't ask for this. They were willing to work. They had a job, and they were doing what they had to do to pay their bills and maintain their lifestyle. It's not fair to them just because they have a job that might spread the coronavirus quicker. You know, I don't know. So hopefully there's going to be something there to protect those people. I agree. 100%. I know there's talk about stimulus payments. I mean, but where does all that money going to come from? I mean, so these are all very, troubling issues, and but hopefully we're going to get, we'll get to it. Hopefully, See, Travis says all my trials have been canceled. All court dates canceled until April. But some lawyers with jail cases have been required to show up for some things, and they are pissed. That's funny. Let's see here. It's the squatters selling the TP to some of us. I know, right? Let's see here. Minnesota doing the same, no late fees, and making sure people in the food industries, part-time workers, and full-time get unemployment. It won't affect the employer. A lot of restaurants are donating meals and deliveries to. Let's see. There are a lot of us that are required to leave our loved ones and go to work to care for the ill. It's stressful as a single mom when we have no daycare available. That's another point too, folks. We probably need to, as much as we're concentrating, that's a good point, Rubber Ducky. I'm actually, you know what? As much as we're focusing on social distancing and all those things to slow the spread of this, but you know what? That's an excellent point. We do need to make sure that we're taking care of the people in our healthcare industry, especially right now at this crucial time. We need to, I'd like for Rubber Ducky to be a little bit less worried about her daycare. I genuinely want that for her. And I think it's practical for us as Americans to want to make sure that our healthcare workers right now are not having to worry about those things, overly worry about those things. So I think that's something that hopefully we can address, that hopefully in the coming weeks and stuff, we'll be putting things together so that our healthcare workers can feel secure and that their family's taken care of while they're at work, taking care of everybody else, right? Turnaround is fair play, right? An article was just posted on the family support group that it is a doctor at Waupun that tested positive for the coronavirus. Okay, so it would be a doctor, all right. Money is coming from the Decepticons. Is that what that's supposed to be? Yeah. Let's see. There are not enough masks, gowns, shields, gloves, and test kits. For what, Trav? Exactly. So, all right. So I'm going to read you guys a few things here. So, as I said, we'll come back to coronavirus, and we'll continue to talk about it and everything and in a future video. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and switch to the second gear of this video, which is another interesting point, another interesting thing, and that is regarding Highland Community College in Kansas. So today, the ACLU filed a complaint in the federal district court in Kansas, and they're basically, they're planning to come after Highland Community College for various forms of racial profiling and discrimination and that sort of stuff. So wanted to show everybody here a couple of things from that filing by the ACLU that you guys might find interesting. I would love it if everybody would just continue to take a little bit of interest in the Highland Community College thing. Obviously, you know, the law is the law and it should apply to everybody equally, no matter what they look like, whatever, however their hair looks like, whatever hairstyle they wear, whatever, anything. It doesn't matter. All humans are humans. So that there should be no, there should be equity for all men in the law, obviously. So what's going on at Highland Community College is there is some clear things that the ACLU points out here in this filing. I'm going to read a couple bits of it, and we'll talk about it a little bit. But so for one thing, I want to show you guys here is here. So, all right, let me see if I can. All right. So right here, number 4 is, in 6 months since HCC's plan to reduce the number of Black student athletes has been underway, an unprecedented number of Black student athletes have been expelled, forced to leave campus, or simply driven away from the college by pervasive harassment of HCC officials. Additionally, the 2020 football recruiting class at HCC includes a significantly lower number of Black student athletes than in previous years. So that's interesting. ACLU decided here in examining the claims that were being made by the plaintiffs in this lawsuit they're filing, basically. In going to research that, they went and looked at the numbers of what things look like right now at HCC and what their recruiting program right now, what it looked like. And they noticed that the number of African-American student athletes has dropped significantly. Just an interesting thing that the ACLU went and looked at and they're pointing out. So, next one was... Okay, so right here. This is plaintiff Dominic Perks Jr. is an 18-year-old African-American male. Mr. Perks attended HCC from July 18th through September of 2019. He came to HCC on a football scholarship and played as a wide receiver during the 2018 and 2019 seasons. Mr. Perks was expelled in the September of 2019 for allegedly using an offensive word in a conversation with an HCC security officer. Using a offensive word with a security officer, okay? At the time of his expulsion, Mr. Perks wore his hair in wicks, a traditionally Black hairstyle. He currently resides in Fort Scott, Kansas. Plaintiff Antoine Thompson is a 22-year-old African-American male. Mr. Thompson attended HCC from August 2018 through December 2019. He was on a full football scholarship for the duration of his time at HCC and played for the Scotties as a wide receiver. In December of 2019, Mr. Thompson was told by defendants that he would not be permitted to return to campus for the spring 2020 semester, and he was billed $6,000 for the fall of 2019 semester, despite complying with the terms of his scholarship for the full season. Mr. Thompson wears his hair in dreadlocks, a traditionally Black hairstyle. Mr. Thompson currently resides in Plant City, Florida. So this kid had a scholarship, and this college, number one, forced him to leave and then made him pay $6,000 for the semester, even though he was complying with the terms of his scholarship. That's interesting. The ACLU is getting involved here, so I think it's interesting. But here's another. There's 4 cases total. So here's the third one. Plaintiff Thomas Prater is a 20-year-old African American male. Mr. Prater attended HCC from July 2019 through October 2019. Mr. Prater played football as an offensive lineman for the duration of his time at HCC. Defendants told Mr. Prater that he would not be able to return to campus because he allegedly told a cafeteria worker that he did not want the food she was serving. So because he told a cafeteria worker that he didn't want the food she was serving, the college somehow thought that meant he needed to be expelled. What? This is interesting. And it's going to be interesting to watch this case progress. Finally, plaintiff Kalia Hines is a 19-year-old African-American woman. Ms. Hines is currently a student at HCC and has attended the school since August of 2018. She has been a member of the women's basketball team for the entirety of her tenure at HCC. Ms. Hines has been subjected to regular surveillance and scrutiny by HCC security and administrators because of her race. She currently resides in Highland, Kansas. So those are the 4 folks that are with the help of the ACLU are filing this complaint against basically Highland Community College. Now, another interesting person here is defendant Eric Ingmeyer is the vice president for the student services at HCC. Pursuant to HCC's student handbook, Ingmeyer has authority to suspend students from classes and eject them from campus. He oversees campus security and has ultimate authority to set practices related to on-campus policing, including, but not limited to, searches of student dorms and vehicles. At all relevant times, defendant Ingmeyer was acting under color of state law. He is sued in an individual capacity. Defendant Brian Durrell is the athletic director of HCC and has served in the position since September of 2019. Defendant Durrell has authority to formulate policies and implement practices related to student-athlete recruitment, conduct, and eligibility. He has ultimate discretion to impose athletics-related sanctions on student-athletes, including suspensions from practices and games. At all relevant times, defendant Durrell was acting under the color of state law. He is sued in his individual capacity. So this is the ACLU filing this, folks. And it's going to get interesting. And I'm going to go further into this thing when I've had a chance to read more of it. What's up, Ripper? How's it going, dude? When I've had more of a chance to read and all that kind of stuff, I mean, I'm going to go through this thing and do a little fuller on it. But it's getting interesting there. And I guarantee you, folks, now that the ACLU has filed this, I'm sure Ripper is going to be pulling up a post tomorrow where the HCC Scotties are sitting there going, "Oh, poor us, poor us. The ACLU is picking on us. Why is everybody picking on us?" So there's going to be another one of those posts tomorrow. So I'm sure. Anyway. I know there's a ton in it, buddy. I was just kind of giving people a little introduction there. So. Yeah, for an institution and things that can hide behind rule infractions is disgusting, especially this day and age. It's obvious what's going on, right? See, I remember this Erekose. I can't remember who it was, but they gave him a lot of money because they felt what they did to him was wrong. Go to page 24. All right, let's go to page 24. 26. Okay. Hold on. 26. Fourth Amendment claim. Or breach of contract. $29, Trav. 29 pages. Okay, so let's see here. The count 4, Fourth Amendment claim, unlawful searches and seizures. Plaintiffs repeat and reallege paragraphs 1 through 59. The federal Constitution protects plaintiffs from unlawful searches and seizures absent probable cause. By regularly conducting searches of plaintiffs' dormitory rooms and vehicles absent probable cause, defendants violated plaintiffs' Fourth Amendment right to be free from unlawful search and seizure. Defendants challenged search practices were taken pursuant to official policies, practices, and customs. Defendants' actions were intentional, willful, and wanton. Where'd it go? By requiring plaintiffs to submit to an unconstitutional searches as a condition of attending HCC, defendant HCC has further violated plaintiff's Fourth Amendment right to be free from unlawful search and seizure. Defendant HCC's search policies are therefore facially invalid. That says facially. Yeah. So these are the type of things that are going on, like I said, and ACLU. So like like I said, and I'm not kidding, dude. I'm totally expecting tomorrow we're gonna see a post from Highland Community College on their Facebook page where they're sitting there going, playing the victim and going, "Oh, the big bad ACLU is picking on us," because that's what they do. That's all they do in this. They keep talking about how everybody's acting without having all the facts. Well, what are we missing? All you keep doing is playing the victim and crying foul. So you're not offering any substance, Highland. So you look like you're hiding something. So the ACLU is going to be on your butt now. So I think it's interesting. I think it's just interesting the fact that the recruiting class this year has significantly less numbers of African American athletes. I just think the fact that there's a lot less this year kind of illustrates what's going on over there. So I know what it means, Trav. I know. I get it. I know facially. Yeah. It says law enforcement can go into their rooms and vehicles without probable cause. But can a handbook overrule U.S. law, constitutional law? Is that what's going to get fought out in court here? They're going to fight over whether or not a handbook is more important or whether or not the Constitution is more important than a handbook? So it's interesting stuff. And like I said, I'm going to go through this thing a little bit more in detail and everything. And I'll put together something a little bit more comprehensive on it and kind of take you through it and show you the ACLU's argument kind of as it goes through it. Sorry. Perhaps even Travis will join me. Maybe he'll have a read of the 29 pages and he'll join me to talk about it. So And then, like I said, yeah, we'll try to look at it a little closer. So like I say, everybody out there, try to be safe. You know, try to limit the amount of activity you have to do when you go out. Just try to keep your distance from people. You know, I know some of you, it's like it's your whole life has been waiting for this moment, right? Where you just, because, I'm just kidding. No, I know some people out there are very avoiding of people, but no, but seriously, I mean, just try to keep your distance from people. Don't get too close, and don't go anywhere you don't need to go, and just, don't be gathering in groups. I mean, that's the big danger. That's how it spreads. That's, the big way of how it will spread is by groups, because when one person can bring it to a group, and then that whole group then becomes, carriers of it and can spread it. That's, not ideal. So that's why the whole idea of not gathering in groups is a really big deal right now. So but I believe Highland Community College does receive federal money, Travis. So I think they are bound by those restrictions. Rally has been canceled. That's right. Travis just said that. I don't know how many people, I don't know if everybody knows that or not, but Rally has been canceled this year. It's unfortunate, but it's the best thing, because like I said, that would be a group of a lot of people getting together, and it only take one or two people there to have the coronavirus, and they would give it to everybody, or most, a lot of people there. And then those people would be flying back home, driving back home, and spreading it more and more and all that kind of stuff. So no big gatherings. So yeah, we have to suspend Rally. We have to cancel Rally, and hey, look, like even over in Scotland, folks, they're over in Scotland. They had to cancel their independence marches. A lot of their fraternal orders are shutting down all operations until later in the year. I mean, there's just a lot of things like that where it's everybody's taking the precaution of just preventing from getting together in big groups, so that, because big groups are ideal spreading ground for corona. So that's why you want to avoid big groups. It's just, it's the best way to be. So Julie, I thought about that, but I think they're used to having it at that time. That would be something you would have to take up with Carla Chase and the rally planners, really, as to whether or not that would be a possibility. So yeah, I mean, like Travis says, it was a good move. So these are the things that we're gonna all have to just think about here in the next few months. Just be mindful. Do you need to go and take that risk? Do you need to go be around these people or that people? I mean, for me, it's strictly what I need to. It's strictly what's necessary for me. And once I'm done with work, I'm hitting the store on the way home, and boom, and then I'm staying in, and I'm staying away from anything, and certainly staying away from any large groups. So that's the big advice here. As I said, we'll be coming back to revisit this at a later date. I did mention this earlier, but yes, the state's response has been delayed 21 days. It's no longer going to be coming out this month. It's been delayed by 21 days. I did mention that earlier. Let's see. Yes. Um, I don't know who you were talking to, Travis, but he's absolutely right. We don't want any chance of having a gathering at Raleigh this year while Corona is a big deal, and still, while we're still like in the middle of that flattening the curve, maybe. We don't want to go there and have a big gathering there in Wisconsin, spread it all around to everybody, and possibly get Dolores sick. So or any of Steven's family. So let's just all do the right thing and let us all get well, and let's get through Corona. And once we get through Corona, and we can go to Wisconsin with a good conscience, a clean conscience, that we're not going to be infecting, say, Mama Avery with something that is terrible. You know what I mean? Right? So I know it's a heartbreak. Trust me, I was looking forward to going to Wisconsin. I'm bummed out that I'm not going to be able to go, but it's for the best. It's the right thing to do, you know? So, because, yeah, who wants to be responsible for potentially getting Mama Avery sick or Papa Avery? You know what I mean? Pa Avery. I mean, who would want that? I certainly wouldn't. Ah, I see. Okay. Yes, and older people are highly susceptible and have a tougher time fighting it. So that's another reason why nobody wants to be the one at Raleigh that ends up bringing Corona to the Avery salvage yard, right? Nobody wants to be that person. I certainly don't. and like I said, all group gatherings. Let's wait. Let's just hold off on all group gatherings. I mean, even groups of 10. I mean, seriously, all group gatherings, stay away from that stuff. Group gatherings are what's going to cause this thing to spread quicker. So we really, really want to stay away from the group gatherings, because they're just they're gonna end up being, the way that this thing can spread quicker. But if we stay away from the group gatherings, we've done well, here in LA and in most of California, we've done the closing of the schools on Monday. We've all week there's been no eating in a restaurant. You can go in and order food and walk out with it, but you can't sit in the dining room. There's just been all these measures taken to prevent groups of people from gathering. That's the trick. That's really the trick, is to just prevent these groups of people from gathering. And then therefore the virus can't find these little easy places to jump off and infect others, to then infect others and infect others. So it's a huge part of it is preventing the group situations. Right. So everybody, remember, say a prayer for Stephen, for those of you who are minded that way. And let's hope that Corona is not going to be too big of a deal over there at Waupun. Like I said, keep your eyes on what's going on with the HCC, the Highland Community College situation, with the ACLU getting involved. I've honestly felt like Highland Community College was giving lip service and basically playing the victim, um, and had very little substance. But the judges that they're going to end up having to deal with here are not going to be. They're going to want the facts, and if they can't defend their actions, it's going to get interesting. So I can send it to you, Travis. So here, I'll send it to you right now, Trav. Where is? There we go. All right, you should have it, Trav. So like I said, keep those things in mind, folks. Social distancing, take it seriously. I'm very, very proud, at least here in LA, to see that people here in LA, the Angelinos, are taking it seriously. People are limiting and really only doing what they essentially have to do. So that's good. People are taking this seriously, and that's the best thing we can hope for. And hopefully we will flatten this curve on this, and we will keep it manageable for our medical community, and we will have, we will not have as many tragic deaths, and we will have, a lot less of the deaths from corona by keeping it manageable, so that our medical professionals can have a fighting chance and really help as many people as possible. Because trust me, folks, I mean, just imagine if it was you. You're sick, you're feeling like crap, it's corona, you don't know if you're going to die, and you don't know if there's going to be any enough medical attention to save you. I mean, just can you imagine the despair of how that might feel? Keep that in mind when you're trying to remember why you're doing social distancing. Think about that. If you were in that position and an overwhelmed medical community couldn't get to you. So that's why we're doing social distancing. That's why it's important. So smash curve and button. Thank you, Trav. All right, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe. We'll see you.